What is up, everyone? We're back again with another video game collection video. Now this is going to be my entire PlayStation 3 game collection. I have already done a PlayStation 4 collection, an Xbox One collection and an Xbox 360 collection. I'll leave the link to them down below if you want to check them out. And speaking of the Xbox 360, I was primarily a 360 gamer, not PlayStation 3. The main reason I bought the PS3 was for one game, which I'll show in a minute, and the Blu-ray player. I wanted a Blu-ray player, so I thought I was killing two birds with one stone by just getting the PlayStation 3. It made sense to me at the time, and it's a good console. I just was, back in the day, a 360 gamer. However, I am now more PlayStation orientated. I play the PS5, I don't even own the new Xbox, and I was more of a PS4 gamer instead of Xbox One. But if you want to check them collections out, they will down below. This is a small collection. Like I said, don't expect anything big here. I'm sorry if it does disappoint you, but it's about 20 or something games here. So let's just get into it. Batman Arkham Asylum. I really enjoyed this game. The main reason I bought it for the PlayStation 3 over the 360 was that it added a Joker pack here where you could play as the Joker. One of the greatest villains ever in the history of the world ever, isn't he? So I wanted it for the PlayStation 3 and I had such a good time with it. I do prefer Arkham City, which I don't own for the PlayStation 3, but it's still a solid first game in the Arkham franchise. So many good villains to fight and stuff. I love collecting all the Riddler trophies, and I love the location of Arkham Asylum itself. So I recommend this if you're looking at starting the Arkham games. This is a good one to start. It is the first one, and it's not as vast and open world as the others, but it's a solid game, and I really enjoyed it. Next up, we do have one of the best games I've ever played in my life, and that is Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition. I also own this for the 360 and mainly played it on the 360, but I love it that much. I bought it again for the PlayStation 3. Just amazing. In my top 5 games of all time, probably. I just loved how big this world was, all these quests you could do. I love the shooting mechanics where you could pause time, the VAT system it's called. I just played this game for so many hours. Love it to death. I love Fallout 4 as well, but this was magical to me at the time. This was one of them feelings you really get from games where you just know you're playing something absolutely unbelievable. And I've got so much nostalgia and so many memories with it. Just amazing game. Next up, I'm just going to show these really quickly because they are trash now, aren't they? Let's be honest, they go for so cheap in CEX and stuff. That is FIFA 09. The main reason I bought it for the PlayStation is because most of my friends had a PlayStation 3 and I could play them online. FIFA 10 and FIFA 12, which actually revamped the whole control system. I really did like FIFA 12 when they brought that out because it felt so different instead of just holding A down all the time. But like I said, I bought these on the PlayStation instead of the 360 because my friends mostly owned PlayStation back in the day. So I wanted to play them online and stuff, and I had a good time with them, you know. That was like when online was sort of my thing. I'm not really a big online gamer. I'm definitely more single player focused. But back in the day, it was FIFA and Call of Duty for me. Next up, Ghostbusters. I think this was a PlayStation exclusive at the time. It was meant to come to 360, but it didn't come until many months later. So I bought it for the PlayStation. Had such a great time with this. I know there's a remastered version for the PlayStation 4 now. This is such a good game. If you like Ghostbusters, this is like Ghostbusters 3 really. You are the new Ghostbuster to the team. You take on the Marshmallow Man and stuff. I really enjoyed it. It was a good, simple, linear game that we just don't get enough of these days. I highly recommend this. Really fun single player game. There was online for it as well, but I only played a little bit of that. Next up is the God of War collection, God of War and God of War 2. Now there are going to be some games here that I haven't played, and these are two of them. I bought these in preparation for the PlayStation 4 version, but just never got round to them and ended up playing the PlayStation 4 version anyway. You don't really have to play these, I've heard. But I would like to get round to them one day because I've heard they're absolute masterpieces. I've heard God of War 3 is a really good game as well, which I don't own for the PlayStation 3, but I do for the PlayStation 4. Was that a play? Yes, it was a PlayStation 3 game, I believe. But I would like to get round to these one day. I've heard they're great, and I'm glad to own them because I know they are big PlayStation titles. Next up is another game I don't know. I haven't played. I do own it on the PlayStation 4. and that is Heavy Rain. Heard this is a really solid story, kind of one of them where you pick and choose your outcome and destiny. I like games like that. I just haven't got around to this, but I think I would like it. I think it's like a thriller. I think I'd like this. Next up is Killzone 2. I was a big fan of Killzone on the PlayStation 2. The official PlayStation magazine did hype that game up a lot, and I went out and bought it on day one. But I did like it. Didn't like this one as much. I only got through the first act or something, the first few missions. I thought it suffered really bad from frame rate issues, but it's still enjoyable. It's not too bad. It's a pretty hard game, to be honest. But I enjoyed the first one much more than this. Next up is Little Big Planet. This idea of making your own levels and designing whatever you want just blew me away. So I picked this up straight away. I thought it was going to be groundbreaking for the PlayStation. Not quite that, but still a fun, enjoyable online level simulator, if you like. I mean, I enjoyed playing other people's levels. Like, you could type anything in and someone would have made it, like a Back to the Future themed level, someone would have made it. So it was quite clever. I don't own 2 and 3, but I do own Sackboy: A Big Adventure for the PlayStation 5, and I haven't started it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Next up, another game I haven't played, unfortunately. My friend Craig gave me this, and that was Medal of Honor Limited Edition. I loved the Medal of Honor games on the PlayStation 2, but Call of Duty has sort of took over now, the genre, hasn't it? But I don't know if I'll ever get around to it. There's so many games I've got to play in my backlog, but I don't know. I haven't heard the greatest things about this, but sometimes I hear bad things about games and I end up loving them. I think people are too quick to be negative on games these days. I'd imagine I would like this, but I don't know. I've never played it. Next up is the reason I bought my PlayStation 3, and that is Metal Gear Solid 4, along with the Blu-ray player, of course. I am a massive Metal Gear Solid fan, and I had to own this. A new generation with a new Metal Gear game. And I did like it, but it's probably my least favourite of the first 5 games because of the cutscenes. There's just too many. Some of them go on for 40 minutes. And the gameplay was sacrificed a little bit, I feel, for these cutscenes. But it was still enjoyable in parts. Quite a clever game. But I just prefer 1, 2, 3 and 5 even above this. But it's not bad. I mean, I've seen magazines giving it a 10 out of 10 and stuff. I don't agree with that at all. Next up is a trilogy I have only played the first one of, and that is Resistance: Fall of Man. I had a good time with it, but I don't remember too much. I didn't complete the game or anything like that. But it wasn't bad, you know. It was one of the very, very first PlayStation games out there. Of course, we have Resistance 2, which I've heard is amazing. Just haven't got round to it. And sometimes I just like to go into these shooter-type games and have fun, not think too much about it. And Resistance 3. I'm really sorry I haven't played these games, guys. Like I said, I was more of a 360 gamer back in the day, and I have picked these up for cheap lately, because I do collect games as well as movies, but I just haven't got round to these ones yet. And next up is another game I have not got round to, and that is Tomb Raider Underworld. I did play Tomb Raider Legend. I think there was a little trilogy of its own there. I've heard this is really good, actually, and one of the better ones. I would like to get to this someday, but the Tomb Raider games that are out now are just amazing, aren't they? I don't think that is going to match them. Next up is one of the first games I owned on my PlayStation 3, Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Had such a good time with this, a great adventure game. I am more of a Tomb Raider fan, especially the new ones, but this has got great story. Nathan Drake is such a great character. I own the remastered version now of all of these 3 games for the PlayStation 4. But I did play this on the PlayStation 3 and really enjoyed it. Next up is everyone's favourite Uncharted game, Uncharted 2, Among Thieves. Not my personal favourite, but I did appreciate how good of a single player this had. Fantastic story, continuing the Nathan Drake story with... Is it Psychic Victor? I can't quite remember now. But I really had a good time with this. Can't wait for the movie. Now this is going to be a lot of disagreement going on here, but this is actually my favourite Uncharted game. And it's Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. I just love the whole different settings, the origin story of Nathan Drake as a child and how he meets... I'm going to say his name's Victor. I loved all that. I loved the desert aspect. Them levels were great. I loved all the different locations. You're even in Britain at some point, in London, and there's a little heist going on. I loved Uncharted 3. Thought it was the best one. I'm not gonna lie, I do think this is the best one, but I'm just going for my personal opinion. That is it, guys. That is my PlayStation 3 collection. Like I said, not too many games there, but if you want to check out my 360, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 collection, they will be down below. But I wanted to do this because I want to do my PlayStation 2 collection as well in the near future, and I feel bad leaving the PlayStation 3 one out. I knew this was going to be a short video, nothing too groundbreaking, but if you did enjoy it, please leave a comment about these games, what you think of them, and I will reply to every single one of you, I promise. If you want to subscribe, it's up to yourself. I have a PlayStation 1 collection to do in the future, some PSP collection. I'm going to do a Nintendo Switch, Mega Drive. I'm slowly getting through the collection, but I do like one of these once a month. But next up will be my PlayStation 2 collection, which I own a fair few games for, so look forward to that. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Take it all easy, and I'll see you on the next one.